Hey, you're listening to No Limits, episode 53. And this week, the FTC bought Microsoft. Oh my! Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor. Yeah, it's me. I'm back in the flesh after missing last week and
10 weeks prior.
And a third to a half of last. You actually counted back 10 weeks before last week. I also missed the show.
No, I was saying you missed 10 weeks in addition. You haven't been here for 11 weeks.
That is categorically false. Yeah, so take that, Bree. Yeah, I'm back after I had to deal with... Anyway, I'll be the intro, then I'll go into it. I'm joined by my co-host. My name is Taylor, and I'm joined by my co-hosts. And I am joined by my co-hosts. Remember, guys, English involves words. Sam and Brianna.
Whoa.
Wait, no,
I didn't know we were fighting.
Whoa, Brianna.
Whoa. I didn't know we were fighting.
Sorry,
Taylor.
Brianna. I'm sorry. Whoa. Right after I'm like, wait, I did it. Oh no. I mean, sorry, let me back up.
Listen, that was my preschool rival.
Joined by my co-host Sam and Solaire.
Hey.
Bree is wearing Solaire shirt.
Isn't it so cute?
It's great. You're listening to No Limits, PlayStation podcast. Remember, you can find the video version of this pod over on youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia every Tuesday. And while you're over there, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you'd rather listen to audio, we are also on all your favorite podcast services, and we'd love it if you would leave us a review. It helps us grow, and we would love any feedback. If you want to support us and get early access to all Save the Game Media content, head over to patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia. Choose the tier that's right for you, just like our current patrons. Bucky Blue, Amon, Pack of Tom, Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Brianna's wife, Nikolai Knight, Cypher Primus, Brendan Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, The Snack Network, David Hotright, Dave Harp, and Luke Orr from the Xbox Expansion Pass. You can also check out our YouTube at Save the Game Media and interact with us in the Discord. Links in the show notes. And I'd also like to mention, guys, I've forgotten to mention this. I hope you mentioned this last week, Bree and Sam. The Spider-Man.
No, I did not.
The Spider-Man 2 Digital Deluxe Edition that we're giving away. Yes, we are. I'm actually not exactly sure when the giveaway period ends, but I know we have it running right now that we're going to be giving away a digital deluxe edition of Spider-Man 2. And to enter, you have to rate No Limits 5 stars on Apple or Spotify, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And if your name is Kyle, you can't enter.
Other than...
Well, I mean, there might be Kyles that aren't related to Kevin, you know?
No.
Just
impossible.
All Kyles.
And for the record, no co-host can enter this, so we are not going to rig it. Yeah.
Kyle did ask, though. So that's why I was clear.
Come on.
Listen, who doesn't want free games?
Yep.
Kevin does. He wins all the freaking time.
So Kevin can't enter, so this is instantly a win.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only way that anybody else could possibly win is because Kevin's not entering.
Wow.
Kevin's the worst. He wins everything.
Right, I know.
How does he do that? Like, genuinely. Like, I swear, I've never seen somebody win so many giveaways in my entire life.
It's all right. He lost some soccer games recently.
I thought he won some too, though.
Karmic balance.
He said he got promoted to a more competitive soccer league.
Kicked.
And then he got crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss playing soccer. Oh, well.
Yeah. Me too. Just kidding. I never liked soccer.
I love soccer.
What have you been playing, Sam?
Not soccer.
Okay. What about... Wait, isn't it called football? Football?
It is.
Football club, right? FC now instead of FIFA?
It's just called football. It's just football. I mean, there are FCs that are football clubs, but we don't ever call them FCs. It's just like, you know, the name of the team.
Just like Richmond.
I have no idea what that's referencing, so I'm just going to say yes and hope that I'm right.
It's Ted Lasso.
Hence why I would have absolutely no idea. I
you
guess
need to
that's the
watch
name of the
that.
club, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Somewhere I put anyway. What have I been playing? A smorgasbord of stuff, really. Dipping my toe in because technically I'm not as busy as I usually am, but I've still got some stuff going on at IGN. Then, as my coverage of Final Fantasy 16 wrapped up recently, I've now been going into not like daily or anything, but far more frequent, like hospital appointments and stuff. Nothing bad, but just like checkups and discussions of my progress and all the healing and getting X-rays and MRIs to check everything's going all right. So there's a lot of toing and froing, and that sort of wearing me out a lot. But in the windows that I've had to play, I'm checking the PlayStation app, so I'm not forgetting anything.
Shows you recently played.
Yeah, since finishing Final Fantasy 16, which I've said on previous episodes, obviously have platinumed. I have platinumed Greece.
I think it's green.
Yeah,
Great. I need to play that game.
It's so good.
It's all right. It's not really my thing,
So
but I like the music and the art, which I guess is like the main drawing points for it. So, on Kevin's recommendation, I played Dodgeball Academia, which was added into the PS Plus catalog recently. Didn't like it. Still platinumed it, but didn't like it.
Wow.
Then I went for a little nostalgia kick, and I played the original Ghostbusters video game from back on PS3, the remastered version, also in the PS Plus catalog. And then I've just played a couple of smaller things here and there, but not really spent any considerable time in it.
So how is that streaming? For
Ghostbusters? It's not streaming. Ghostbusters.
Oh wait, Ghostbusters Remastered is a PS4
yeah,
title.
so it's the PS4 version of the PS3 game. I probably wouldn't have played it. Well, actually, no, I probably would have played it, but I wouldn't have like 100%ed it or anything.
Platinum that too.
Yeah, so I'm not really like actually playing anything. I'm just sort of going through my back catalogue, seeing things like, could I tidy up a platinum here easily? If I could, maybe I'd dip my toe back into it. If not, I haven't really committed to anything really substantial lately, which has been nice. It's been nice just to have a little dig around, see what I can find, casually enjoy things rather than going for anything massive.
Nice. What's up for next for you then? The big game wise, you're not playing Armored Core, right?
Not to my knowledge.
Wait, can I guess?
Anything could change.
Oxenfree?
I think Oxenfree 2 and Viewfinder.
I will play Oxenfree 2 eventually. And the reviews have been decent about what I was expecting, to be honest. But I just don't know that I'm quite in that mood. I feel like if I'm going to play that, it will be more around the October, November sort of time frame. I just feel like
it does. Yeah,
a bit of a
vibes.
spooky, yeah. So I feel like I'll probably dive into that then. But I will, yes, 100% in a couple of days' time, actually, be buying Viewfinder day one and playing that.
Called it.
Yeah.
It's like you said you wanted to play it or something.
I have many times, but I'll still give you the credit.
Yes.
It's just screaming, "Play me, Daddy!" And you're like, "Whoa!"
You're like, that's mommy to you.
Got him. Ready, Bree? What?
I haven't played anything. Okay, wait, that's not fair. I played Final Fantasy 16 last night because I was like, if I don't play it at all this week, I'm gonna get in trouble. And so I played it last night.
You would not get in trouble.
I would be getting so much trouble. And so I played it last night. After I spent like an hour putting stickers on my water bottle.
An hour?
Yeah. I like stickered the whole thing.
Is that a hydro flask?
No, it's an Owala.
Yeah, duh.
I actually really like these water bottles to the point where I convinced my dad and his girlfriend to both get one.
I need to get one. I want to get a galloner.
Owala doesn't have a gallon. They have 40 ounces though.
I'll get a 40 ouncer.
Do it. It's really nice.
Is it over under $50?
Oh, way under. I think it's like 30.
Okay.
Actually, the 40 ounce might be $40. I can't remember. I'll look. I'll send you the Amazon link. Anyways.
The sales tax up here is 10%. So
taxes in California, dude. I looked at I was like looking at my last paycheck. They took out like they're taking out like 20 to 25% of my paycheck.
That's federal tax. And that's federal tax.
I don't care who's taking it.
Up that much.
I don't care who's taking it.
All right. Bree is anti-taxes.
I'm not anti-taxes. I'm anti-taxes that go towards nothing I want them to.
It just sucks. Yeah. So I agree with that.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I played Final Fantasy 16. I don't know how to say where I am without spoiling it, so I won't. I could no, it's fine. So yeah, I played that and I've just been watching a lot of TV and reading. I actually have been reading mostly.
Ooh, what you reading?
A lot of manga and manhwa.
Oh, manga? People who say manga and Mario need to be hit with a stick. I swear to God.
Okay. Wait. You look like you would say Mario. That was my insult that came to mind immediately.
Wow. I know I say Mario. Although on YouTube, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a YouTuber called named Wolf Den or Bob Wolf. He's like a slightly Nintendo-centric YouTuber, but he does stuff on like emulators and other interesting pieces of tech and gaming tech. And he says Mario. And really makes me want to unsubscribe sometimes. But Bob, I love you enough that in my personal relationship with you as a YouTuber that I'll allow it.
Makes sense. But yeah, I just got a bunch of books in the mail last night. I posted a picture in the Discord. I ordered 19 and I got 17 out of the 19.
You ordered 19 new books?
Yeah.
Wait, where? Photos and music?
No, I think I posted it in the anime channel because they're mostly manga. Actually, they're all manga.
Oh, that's why. Manga. Okay. Where? Anime, manga, comics.
Anyways, doesn't matter, but yeah, I got a bunch of books. So.
Atelier? Wait, I thought Atelier was a manga before it was a game?
No, this is completely unrelated. This is Witch Hat Atelier.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, as stupid Canadians would say.
I like Canadians.
Sorry. A boot. What?
Wait, did you guys see my story? So one of my coworkers was chatting. She needed help. She needed approval on something, so I had to review it. Yeah, so this British customer called her Miranda in the chat. And I couldn't get over it because I was like, wait, how did that actually happen?
They transliterate how they speak.
I know. It was like...
No comment.
Not transliterate.
It made me laugh so hard.
It was phonetic, yeah.
It was funny. Anyways. Miranda didn't say anything. She's so serious. I would have been like, also look how they pronounce my name. But that was it. Anyways, Taylor, you've been pretty busy, you said?
Yeah, it's with work stuff, and it was like a big safety issue. And I don't understand. When I told them I need to record a podcast, they just wouldn't understand. So actually, I didn't tell them that. But
yeah, I don't tell my work either.
Well, I think I told my coworkers that I do podcast, but I never said, no, I cannot work on this critical safety issue because I have a podcast. But that's over with now. It's over with now, and I think I might be in line for a promotion soon. So, and I got OT that I'll probably use towards Extra Life. So I guess it ends up working out. Like it basically ended up being the OT is going to be the bulk of the funding for Extra Life.
I just got my time off approved for Extra Life. So.
Oh, I need to schedule that. Holy.
Yeah.
Major's pretty easy about that.
A mess trying to schedule that because I was also scheduling my trip to Jordan. And
wait, when's that?
It's like the week before.
Bree, oh my God.
I know. I have no control over that trip, so.
What have you been playing, Taylor?
Yeah. Final Fantasy 16.
Me? Yeah, before we started yes, I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. I'm still very early in the game. Number one, I'm Taylor, so I play games extremely slowly. But I do finish them. It took me 6 years to finish Breath of the
Wild. Hey.
But I finished it. And 2, I've been meaning to purchase and play, but I haven't done it yet. I think okay, let me back up. Yeah, I've only played Final Fantasy 16. And it is very good still. However, I definitely see what our co-host Kevin Ainsworth is saying when he talked about that the pacing is inconsistent. There were, at least I told you guys a set piece that I just experienced before we started recording. And before that, there was probably a good 45 minutes of gameplay that was just talk to this person, go slay this beast or this monster in the wild, talk to this other person again, get this item for me. And it felt monotonous, not very rewarding. But it's still worth it for me to, I'm not going to say grind, but to push myself through that to get to the part of the main story quest that really get me entertained and hyped up. So I will acknowledge that. I still think the side quests suck so far. But the main story and the main action sequences are so incredible that the boring side stuff I can tolerate. So my overall experience, I think, is still very good. I don't think it's like the magnum opus of all time that I might have initially thought it was, just because of the side content feels like it hunkers it down a bit. But I'm still having a really fun time. So yeah.
That's fine.
Can you tell me the side content gets better, please?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on what your definition of gets better is.
Sorry. It's more, the side stories are more engaging, and the side fights, I'll give you the side quest fights end up being larger scale and give you better loot than here's some extra fangs and scales that you can throw in your inventory.
Yeah. So whilst the actual like minute to minute actions you are executing aren't necessarily going to differ that much in later side content, you know, you'll, as you say, you'll still be talking to people, going out, doing a thing or getting a thing or killing a thing, but the scale increases. And I think most importantly, at least from my perspective, the actual like narrative substance that's there. Like I think that genuinely some of the best character moments by a country mile are in the later side quests.
Okay.
And without spoilers, obviously, but for characters that you might not necessarily expect. So I think that they are still well worth doing, but I get the criticism that for a decent proportion of the game, it is relatively milquetoast. The stuff that you're doing is just, as you say, go here, do a thing, go back, talk to this person.
Like it's to the point where if it's an in-engine dialogue, after I've read what's on the screen with the subtitles, I just press X, move on to the next line. I don't wait for the person to speak.
That's fair.
But what was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know. What was I going to say?
Words.
I was going to say words.
That you're glad it's going to get better, but you're still enjoying it.
Yeah, it's basically it, Sam.
Yeah.
I was going to also, I was waiting until it went on sale. I had notifications on Deku deals for it. DekuDeals.com is a great deal monitoring website for Nintendo eShop games on the Switch. And I was waiting for Final Fantasy VII, the port of OG Final Fantasy VII, to go on sale. And because I was thinking about playing it on my commutes to and from work. And it's $8 now. So I think I might pick that up and play that on my commutes to and from work.
Nice.
But the other part of me is like, can Taylor really handle a turn-based JRPG?
You can handle whatever you want.
But I think
that is the question.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like after beating Breath of the Wild, no, it is not the same. But I have this newfound confidence that even if it takes me a long time, I can still beat really long games eventually. And so I might try that.
Nice.
And yeah, Pikmin's in September. And Starfield. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Or sorry, Pikmin 1+2 physical comes out in September, which is, for me, that's like a release. But as opposed to Pikmin 4, which I'm waiting on because I never played the other games.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Barbieheimer comes out next week, of course.
Who could forget?
Yeah. With Margot Robbie. Rabbi. Yeah. Margot Rabbi. Yep. I didn't realize Greta Gerwig was directing this until like a few days ago.
Really?
Is she writing it too? Or did she write it?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really curious with what social commentary Greta Gerwig is going to fit into the Barbie movie and how the people of Barbie allowed it.
I think that's the more interesting question because it doesn't seem like they made her hold back. They forced her to hold back at all. I think she is going to do her usual spiel, go a bit off the rails in terms of.
There is one movie I want to see, and this reminds me of Greta Gerwig because it reminds me of Lady Bird, that film. I want to see Boyhood. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
The moment where there's a boy in a hood.
But is there a hood in the boy?
That's DLC.
Oh. Damn it.
Can you imagine if movies had DLC?
It's called sequels. No, that doesn't count. I guess TV. No, that doesn't count either. Yeah, you're right. What if movies DLC? Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention. I saw Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
I thought it was better than the first movie, and it had some inconsistent pacing towards the middle of the film. Not inconsistent pacing, slow pacing towards the middle of the film. But I'll say the last third of the film was so strong. I think it's still better than Into the Spider-Verse for me. Spider-Man 2099, Miguel is
you
incredible.
Said Daddy? That's what
I really want to see more fights with him. Wait, is that a spoiler? Whoops. Well, if you saw the after credits of Into the Spider-Verse, you should have expected Miguel to show up here.
Yeah.
He is so attractive. Very good. Incredible animation. Made some of the best art and animation I've seen. The way they manipulate color palettes and backgrounds during different scenes seamlessly. No wonder they crunched hard on this movie. I don't see how they could have all the different moving parts that are done by hand. I'm shocked they pulled it off.
Mm-hmm. I cannot wait for the third one. There's no way it's coming out next year.
Yeah, and there will be a third one that's confirmed. Yeah. No, wait, no. Let's just see. If the first one came out 2018, this one came out now, but the next one will be basically a direct sequel. Well, I guess they're all direct.
Well, it's so they had two. Yeah. So they were only going to do 2 films, but then this film, I think, in order to do what they wanted with it, they ended up splitting it. So the third film is already partially kind of done in doing the second film.
So I guess the turnaround time will probably be shorter than 5 years.
Yeah, I think it's set for March 2024 right now.
Wait, what? Really?
But I doubt it'll actually, with all of the strikes.
March 29th. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's not happening, but...
Oh, wait, Oscar Isaac voiced Miguel? Yeah. I didn't know that. Daddy Oscar. What, Sam? I don't look at all the cast lists before I see a film, okay? And also, when it's not live action, it's not very obvious, all right?
I will say, the one thing I was disappointed with the film is that there was no Post Malone song. I was waiting for it.
I thought there was a Post song somewhere. Really, there wasn't? No Sunflower? I think Post is a drinking problem.
Probably. Among other things.
Oh, the ending sequence also in that film? Holy moly.
I know. I'm so obsessed.
Things happened.
Okay. We can't keep talking about this or I'll like literally talk forever.
After 25 minutes. Sorry, guys.
We also have a lot of news to get through, so we
better
blast through this.
So FTC acquired Microsoft.
In a turn of events no one expected.
The federal government has acquired Microsoft. Thoughts?
No one saw this coming, but yeah, I'm very happy about this acquisition.
Jim Ryan was caught in compromised position with other executives.
I'm gonna
please don't sue me for slander, Sony or Jim. But anyway, yeah, so Activision bought the FTC.
Taylor, we don't have a lot of time.
Okay.
Ready to go.
All right, so Microsoft has won against the FTC case. That's bad wording. Microsoft has won against the FTC in their courtroom battle, where the FTC attempted to file an injunction on the $69 billion acquisition of Activision-Blizzard-King by Microsoft. So, right, California Judge Corley, I believe her name is, ruled, and this comes to us from The Verge, Tom Warren. Thanks, Tom the Bomb. Judge Corley ruled in favor of Microsoft on the FTC's request for a preliminary injunction. So, in other words, the judge denied the FTC's injunction against the acquisition. Therefore, and that's a double negative. Effectively, the judge paved the way for Microsoft to complete the acquisition. The FTC was trying to appeal its loss, but I believe the
appeal was denied.
The appeal was also denied by the Ninth Circuit Court, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this article we have here is I guess 1 or 2 days out of date. So since this article I'm reading was posted, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, I believe, denied that request for appeal. And the CMA, so let me back up. And they also denied an extension to a temporary restraining order on the deal. And yep, they denied that too. So the deal's set to be completed by July 18th. July 18th is significant because in Microsoft's negotiations with Activision, if the deal wasn't negotiated by July 18th, then Microsoft would need to pay Activision $3 billion. Then Activision would have the authority to renegotiate the deal. But it looks like, as we're recording this on July 16th, that won't be happening. Also, on the stock market, I believe Activision's some part, I don't entirely understand how stock trading works, but I believe Activision's stock was quote unquote pulled from the market temporarily.
Yeah.
As this acquisition materializes behind the scenes. And also another key part of this CPA, not Certified Public Accountant, but rather the Competition Markets Authority, the CMA from the UK, was denied Microsoft in the UK to complete the deal, and over concerns about the cloud market and Microsoft's what they would think is a Microsoft monopoly on that market. The CMA and Microsoft agreed to pause their legal battles to figure out how the transaction could be modified. And I believe, since this article I'm reading was posted, the CMA, it's really weird. The CMA effectively and Microsoft agreed to deliver cloud services and Game Pass through a third-party vendor, effectively being a middleman to deliver cloud services, cloud gaming from Microsoft. Actually, let me look this up real quick so I don't miss this. Cloud gaming, CMA, Microsoft. Yeah, or I should say it's still not fully confirmed, but Microsoft's considering selling the UK cloud gaming rights So they would be selling, this comes to us from VG charts, and they would be, quote unquote, selling the cloud gaming rights to that third party who would be the distributor and deliverer of Xbox's cloud content. And yeah, I believe that's where it stands right now. And we're waiting on the July 18th deadline to see if this deal wraps up, which it looks like it will be. Microsoft will be
by tomorrow morning. It'll be done.
Yeah, Microsoft will have acquired Activision-Blizzard-King.
Hooray!
I know that was a long rant, but I wanted to get everything in there that was recent from this.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I'm so excited, man. COD get campaigns on Game Pass. Give me that. Woo! Give me it. Crash. All right, I'll take Crash. I'll take that. More Tony Hawk. All right.
Yeah.
I know Sam shares my excitement.
Microsoft can be more competitive now, right? This
is going to fix all of their problems.
Yeah, well, because they can clearly manage all of the studios that they already have. So bring in literal thousands.
There are big management issues, but I think on paper,
go well.
Microsoft is in a better position to compete with Sony.
Sure.
That this deal is closed. And yes, I don't know how the hell they will manage however many thousands of employees now. Actually, I know the best case scenario, all right? Infinity Ward develops the next Halo. It's going to be a good Halo game.
Okay, but what happens if it's not?
I don't know, Sam.
Because now they've pile drived what is one of their flagship franchises into the ground.
Look what Sony did to Killzone. What about Killzone, huh? Where's Killzone? Nowhere, because Sony killed it with Shadowfall.
But Shadowfall was still a good game. Like, it wasn't critically
really? I haven't played it. I need to play it.
It wasn't critically panned. It was still praised. It was just drowned out by other competition at the time. I've shared my opinion plenty of times.
We're going to keep beating this to it. I don't want to. How about this?
I think that this isn't being competitive. Being competitive is fostering your studios and creating IP that sell gangbusters. Cutting a swathe of the industry out isn't being competitive. It's using your money to cheat your way to the table. It's not the same thing. And in my opinion, I think that this decision to let Microsoft do this, regardless of the fact that it's Microsoft, that's not my issue. It's just the fact that they can do this in general. Anybody can now. I think that the industry will look back on this and regret it at the end of the day. I have been very somber since this news came out, knowing that it was going to happen. But it's sort of like, I've said it before, it's a door that once you open, you can't shut it. And major non-gaming centric corporations are going to see this as a green light to go on a consolidation race that we have not seen the likes of yet. Because consolidation, at the end of the day, regardless of which way you spin it, reduces options for consumers. Doesn't matter what Microsoft says. You are taking this from here and here and here and bring it to only this place. They've done it with Bethesda. They will eventually do it with Activision-Blizzard-King. We all know that, regardless of the concessions they've made. I don't like it. It doesn't matter that it's Microsoft doing it. If Sony was doing it, I'd have the exact same concerns, but Sony aren't doing it. And when they do, I can't have a problem with it, because if Xbox get to do it, then Sony should as well. Either we have a problem with everyone doing it or no one doing it. We clearly don't have a problem with Microsoft doing it. They've done it twice in the past 5 years. So we've got to let everyone do it now. I don't want that to happen, but it's just a reality that we're going to head towards. And
just play indie games.
Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm kind of being half serious. Like, just
no,
there's like a ton of great gaming variety in the indie space. Just like,
I'm with
just
you.
burrow yourself there.
I think what I'll stop, because otherwise I will rant. What I hope happens in a potentially more positive spin, it's on Microsoft now. The ball is in their court, and they need to do three things. They need to, one, obviously stick to the commitments and the concessions that they've made, which they're obviously going to do because they are legally bound to do so. So that's not an issue. Secondly, they obviously need to course correct Activision-Blizzard-King in terms of the misconduct and lack of respect and equality and everything within that corporation, those studios, they need to fix that. And then, as I said, they need to prove that they can manage, on top of all their existing studios and Bethesda, they are now onboarding thousands and thousands of other workers and dozens of studios and hundreds of IPs. At the end of the day, they need to prove that they can manage that. I don't believe that they can. I hope I'm wrong, but it's on them now. They've talked the talk. Now they need to walk the walk. And that's where I'll stop, because otherwise I'll just spiral, you know.
You spiral.
Oh, you got to trigger me, Taylor. You got to trigger me.
I love Spyro.
God damn it.
Spyro's good.
It is.
Spyro, Banjo, and Crash collab.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Kevin
Banjo's
would lose
dead.
his mind.
You know, it's not
What's dead?
Some peace.
Banjo. It's not going to happen.
I know we cancel Sea of Thieves and they have to address Banjo.
They've got Everwild, you know, and that's going great, clearly, because we've seen so much of it.
What is it?
It was announced when, like 6 years ago?
I forgot about Everwild. Everwild. Rare's working on this? All right.
Apparently, we haven't seen it in God knows how long, but it must be going well, clearly, because, you know, Perfect Dark as well. That's going very well.
It's okay.
Love to see that.
Perfect Dark and Metroid Prime 4 don't exist.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to do the tweet as well really quick, Taylor?
Oh yeah, Phil Spency made a tweet this morning, July 16th, 2023, saying we're pleased to announce Microsoft and PlayStation have signed a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation following the acquisition of Activision-Blizzard. We look forward to a future where players globally have more choice to play their favorite games.
This gives no information, so
I look forward to that future too, Phil.
You can buy COD on PlayStation still. I think you can have that as a takeaway, at least through the end of PS5 generation.
Yeah.
And of course, by the way, that tweet was vetted by his lawyers. So he didn't just pull out his phone and he's like, oh, I'm playing Candy Crush and I own this now. And then he went to tweet that now. He talked with...
My lawyers told me to not say anything, so I tweeted it instead.
To Hogue Law on YouTube, and he's like, what do I write? And yeah.
Okay. All right. You guys ready for the next one?
Sure.
Okay.
Sam, do you want to take this one?
That was a cue for me to take it, so I shall open the link.
Do you want to? It was more of it wasn't a request. It was
no, I think it was Taylor.
It was a cue.
It's already happened. It's just let it happen. The Last of Us is a top contender in terms of Emmy nominations. Emmy is obviously the sort of film and television awards, one of the many ceremonies that are held every year. And it is the first live-action video game adaptation to earn major awards consideration. There are a total of 24 awards and nominations. Those include Outstanding Lead Actor for Pedro, obviously, Outstanding Lead Actress for Bella, Guest Actor for Murray Bartlett, Guest Actor for Lamar, that's Frank, and it's not Sam. Sam's a little one. I can't remember the character's name. Why can't I forget?
Henry?
Henry, that's it. Yeah.
Sam's the little.
Wow. Look at me one-upping Sam on PlayStation knowledge.
Who knew? Guest actor for Nick Offerman as Bill. Guest actor for Kevon Montreal Woodward as Sam, the little one. Which is a pretty big deal, actually.
That's actually a really big deal.
I think he's actually the youngest person. I think I read that somewhere, that he might be the youngest person to be nominated for.
I think I saw that as well.
A guest actor Emmy. That, and also, like, obviously he's deaf as well, so like he's sort of trailblazing on a number of different levels, which I think is awesome. And arguably deserves it. I mean, I suppose like it's really hard because all of these guest actors are great. But the other ones,
I would be so thrilled if he won.
Oh yeah, 100%. But then I wouldn't be unhappy if any of the others won. You know, it's a win-win. There's outstanding production design, outstanding guest actress for Melanie Linsky as Kathleen. I'm not so sure on that one. Outstanding casting, outstanding guest actress for Storm as Riley. Outstanding contemporary costumes, outstanding guest actress for Anna Torv as Tess. Outstanding directing for a drama series, outstanding drama series in general, outstanding picture editing, sound editing, contemporary hairstyling, sound mixing, main title design, special visual effects, contemporary makeup, writing, prosthetic makeup, music composition, and those are all of the nominations.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, just those. Pretty just underwhelming, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that we would all concur it is thoroughly deserved. Surprising, to be honest, because typically you don't see video game adaptations break through, but clearly I think the sort of 1-2 punch we've had of Last of Us and then Super Mario doing so well in theaters, that's sort of like the watershed moment, I think, where they're going to start to be taken far more seriously going forward.
Right. And Gran Turismo, the movie, it's not going to be that good.
Everything I've heard is that it's actually pretty decent. Okay. Nothing mind-blowing, nothing like must see.
The only reason I would watch it is Orlando
better
Bloom.
than it seems, is the sentiment I've heard.
Bree, the days of Will Turner and Legolas are over.
And Orlando Bloom is still hot. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, he is aged very, very gracefully. Like,
yeah, but great stuff. I think it's obvious that the awards, the nominations, to some extent were coming. I think what is more interesting is how this affects Last of Us as an IP, in terms of, like, does Naughty Dog look at this success and like double down and make sure that Last of Us Part 3 is the next thing they put out? Do they offload spin-offs and stuff to other studios so that we get more Last of Us content? I'm just interested to see what comes of this, because it's clearly there is so much life left in The Last of Us as an IP, clearly, with a brand new audience exposed to it as well that hasn't lived with it for a decade, so it seems far more fresh to those people, and will want to consume as much as they can. So time will tell, but exciting stuff.
Very exciting. I think all of those are very well deserved nominations. So,
am I the only one who thought the finale of The Last of Us season 1 was rushed?
Like a yes and a no.
I think the rest of the show was really well done, except for the last episode. And I'm like, man, I guess I'm being the downer here, but that was my lasting impression of the show.
I wonder if it feels rushed just because, like, in playing the game, it's like a much longer sequence.
I just felt like, I guess I'm someone who came from playing the game to watching the show, so I don't know. But I will say, yeah. Height of the show for me was episode 3. Bill and Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Just to see how it does here. I imagine Succession wins everything, but excited to see how it does here. Well, everything. I'm sorry, not everything, but a lot of the marquee awards.
Sure. When a show is nominated this many times, they'll pick up something, even if it is in the more sort of tangential categories. So that's a big deal, even to be nominated in like lead drama series. Yeah. That's a big deal, regardless of if they win, which they won't. But
the Dark Knight comic book,
exactly. Yeah.
Repeat, but this time with games and it's a TV show instead of a movie.
Okay. Next one. So Neil Druckmann is taking over the world. No,
he already really took it over in Last of Us 2, but okay.
Neil Druckmann will be standing alone at the top as Naughty Dog co-president retires after 25 years. So co-president Evan Wells is retiring at the end of this year. leaving Neil Druckmann to fully take the reins of one of PlayStation's best-known studios. In a message published on Naughty Dog's official site, Wells talks about how his 30-year career in games, career in games, and praised Druckmann, saying he's incredibly confident that he's leaving the studio in the best hands. This is something that I've been discussing with Naughty Dog studio leadership team for well over a year, and with Neil for even longer than that. The decision brings with it overwhelming and conflicting emotions, but I've come to realize that I'm content with my time at the studio and all that we've accomplished together over the last 25 years. I couldn't be more confident in Neil's ability to carry on running the studio. It's the right time for me to provide the opportunity for him and the others of the studio leadership to steer the studio into a successful future. Druckmann praised Evan in a tweet, calling him a legacy unmatched. Quote, sad to see my boss, mentor, partner, friend leave, but happy for him to enjoy a well-earned retirement. Evan, your unmatched legacy will forever be a part of Naughty Dog. He's been with Naughty Dog since 1998, with credits including Crash Team Racing and Jak and Daxter. Wells became co-president of Naughty Dog following the departure of founders Jason Rubin and Andy Gavin in 2004. Druckmann was promoted to co-president alongside Wells in 2020. So yeah. They will be fine, I assume.
Cool.
Who knows? Yeah. Factions is sort of happening.
No, it isn't. Never happening.
I hope that he actually, now that he's like solely the lead, he realizes that that's not the direction he wants to go, because I don't think that Neil wants to go in that direction, and he'll just veer them right back onto the usual traditional.
How's Factions? Nice to meet you.
I'm sure he'll look at you with some sense of disgust and then not answer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would never. But, okay. Well, does anybody have anything else to say about that besides a question? This is happening. Sure.
A question, because I've mulled on this since the news came out. Do you think that when we get Last of Us Part 3, because we inevitably will, do you think Neil was directing it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I guess my other question would be, who internally is Neil's protege or the next person up when it comes to lead writer? There has to be someone in there, or someone who would be taking. I guess my impression was that Neil was kind of the everything man at that company for the past several years.
But if he's taking over the responsibilities as co-president,
as the president.
Yeah.
The president.
I think his responsibilities as an executive, he has new responsibilities as an executive. So I would think, unless he wants to work 100-hour weeks, that lead writing of the next video game will not be him.
I think he'll definitely be
involved
in the writing and sort of on set and stuff. But
what does that mean for the TV show as well then? Because he was also working on that.
That's what I mean. Just like in general, like what happens to him? Because he is, as we all know very clearly, he is a very creative person. But when he is at the head of the studio, that does change his work dynamic.
Yeah, there might be some overlap before, as he wraps up his last responsibilities prior to becoming president.
Yeah, I mean, these are really good questions.
Being a consultant for the second season of the show will be one of his last tasks to close out before he becomes Mr. Executive.
Because like anybody feasibly within that studio could become a game director on whatever new game Naughty Dog is doing. Like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Where people go from one job that is nondescript within the company. It doesn't have to be from a specific department, and they can get boosted to game director.
Maybe the secret is that these high positions, you don't really have a lot of responsibilities. Maybe that's the real secret.
It could be
they're just getting paid obscene amount of monies to do nothing.
Don't be absurd. That can't be true.
Some presidents that's the case, but like in sports, this is an interesting comparison. There are head coaches who are also team president, and some presidents are what you said, Bree, but others in other applications do a lot of stuff. So and I don't know what flavor of that Neil has. If I'm gonna guess, I would err more on the side of he's more involved than a Jim Ryan, right? I know Jim Ryan is the president of Sony, not Naughty Dog, but in terms of involved with day-to-day operations and activities and influence, I think Neil is more involved.
The thing is I'm not saying that Neil isn't involved, but I'm saying maybe this won't shift his what he's doing too much.
It won't shift his work statement. Yeah. I could see that. I just don't work at Naughty Dog or know anyone who works there, so I can't speak for them, only speculate.
I think the closest comparison I found is this probably won't mean anything to Bree necessarily, but I hope it does to you, Taylor. Like James Gunn, in terms of he's a director and a writer, and he did all the Guardians films.
Yeah.
And now he has shifted to an executive position at DC and he's literally heading that entire brand. But at the same time, we're seeing him, he's directing the new Superman film and stuff. Just like, is that a feasible thing? Assuming that when you take on that executive level type position at the top, you are actually bearing the brunt of those responsibilities.
Right. He could be the figurehead, and the vice president could actually be doing all the executive tasks.
Yeah.
Where sometimes when someone is in a very public facing position like president of a company, they're there as a face to throw tomatoes at and as a scapegoat if things are needed. But behind the scenes, they could do a whole lot of things or a whole lot of nothing. And the vice president could also be either extreme of that as well. So
because there were some people promoted when this was made that got boosted up to head of finances and head of culture and stuff like that. So I think that realistically, that probably is going to be the case, that the title that he has as president is more like semantics than anything else. And that the executive team beneath him are what are actually running the individual segments of the studio. He just gets to be the recognizable public presenting face of the company studio,
which he kind of already is.
Sure, right? But this is cementing it, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think that Evan Wells has been planning to retire since 2020 then?
I'm sure they gave him more lead time on that decision than the public got.
Oh yeah, no, because he said that he had told Neil well before. So I'm wondering, in his taking over that position as co-president, he's like, hey, I want you to know that in a couple of years I'm going to retire, so I'd like to get you prepared for that eventuality.
I'd say so, because 2020 was when Part 2 came out, and obviously COVID hit. So I think he probably might have even bounced sooner if the pandemic hadn't hit, but obviously he didn't want to. I could be talking out my ass here, but it would seem to me that he was at least having discussions at that point. Once Last of Us 2 shipped, he was sort of that's the thing. I'm going to leave. That's my final note. And then COVID hit, and he didn't want to leave the studio, not in a state of disrepair, but he didn't want to shake things up whilst the dynamic of the studio, work from home and everything, was starting to kick into gear. So that'd be my guess.
Okay, cool. Well, you guys ready for the next one?
Do it,
Taylor.
Yep. All right, sorry, Toph was
being cute.
Attention. Yeah, now she's on my lap. Okay,
I can hear her purring.
Cool. I'll keep the mic on. So the Last of Us composer, Gustavo Santaolalla. Have I pronounced that correctly? Santaolalla. Wow, really stupid for saying Lala. Was it Laya?
I saw him in person.
I think it's Laya. Yeah, you're right.
Laya, yeah.
Gustavo Santaolalla, the composer of Last of Us, suggested new release of Part 2 is coming, according to IGN from Ryan Mustin. Maybe getting Last of Us 2 Part 2 might be getting a new enhanced release. So during an interview with Blender, what?
How does everything out of Naughty Dog leak? And also, I need my leak. But
there you go. Well, it wasn't I wouldn't call this a leak. I just call it a leak is when I'd say a leak is when there isn't identifiable source related to the product. Whereas the composer definitely is. So during an especially when it's a public
But this isn't like an announcement, right? And I feel like nothing that they do gets actually announced.
Okay. During an interview with Blender, the composer teases cameo appearance in Last of Us Part II will be expanded in, quote, new editions of the game. In the new editions, you can make me play certain themes as well, and I can't tell you anything else. Quote, that's what he said. He originally appeared in game at Last of Us 2 as Gustavo. I didn't know this. As a survivor of the cordyceps infection outbreak who resides in Jackson. Yeah. The small cameo in which he plays the banjo seems to be getting expanded in the new supposed versions of the game, hinting that the player will be able to make him play other songs from the game's soundtrack. This is far from an initial announcement. However, it's the first we've heard of anything from new editions of The Last of Us Part II. And will likely... Sorry, my cat is all over me. And perhaps likely the popular sequel will be heading to PC like its predecessor, but the game so far, right, only exists on PS4 or PS5 for The Last of Us Part II. So, yeah. Seems, I mean, I'm not really surprised, but Last of Us Part II did get a 60 FPS patch. But, yeah, of course they were going to do this. I thought for sure they were going to re-release Part 2 with factions. So, even if this doesn't release with factions, I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised, but
I've just got the idea of Gustavo in game just breaking out to take on me, you know? I've just got that in my head.
Where do you get claimed, Taylor?
I really, really hope this is just a PC port and director's cut thing, as opposed to an actual remaster or whatever that is releasing as a separate product.
I think director's cut is the most straightforward way of doing it. The PS5 version, right?
Yeah, like it's a native, and they can still like sell that as a product, but for pre-existing people that want the upgrade, I would hope that it is the same thing that they usually do, like a $10 thing. Because it is a game that came out in 2020. That's like less than 3 years ago.
Well,
so
Death Stranding, that got director's cut. I believe that was 2021. Death Stranding director's cut, and that game released fall of 2018.
Sure.
So that's
right. But again, that was if you already owned the game, it was only a $10 thing. You know, it wasn't
right. Same thing with Ghost. Ghost came out in 2022. Sorry, Ghost director's cut, summer 2022. That game came out in summer 2020.
2020, yeah.
So I think that's about on pace for Sony to do the director's cut, given their precedence on Death Stranding.
Sure, but like again, going back to like the previous stories we talked about how The Last of Us is such a hot IP right now. Sony, don't get cocky. Don't think that you can charge full price for a up-resed version of Part 2 because I'm not going to buy it.
Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised, and they'll just patch it. They'll just patch the game.
They already did. They already added a 60 FPS patch on PS5 and haptic feedback for The Last of Us Part 2.
But what if they do it?
No, I don't think so.
They already did that.
When not that Gustavo is going to know everything, but when he specifically says like a new version of the game, it's like that indicates to me that it is to whatever extent, a separate product that is.
Yeah, no, it for sure is.
Trust me, like what you said, that would be ideal for me. Like if it was just a patch, that is obviously the best thing. I could just pop in my disc and it's like, I get all the bells and whistles, but Sony don't like doing that.
But the thing is like they're not going to like they may do a thing where it's like if you own the other version already, you only have to pay so much money to upgrade.
Yeah,
they might do something like that, but I doubt it. I bet it's just going to be another $70.
That's what I'm saying in terms of if what I'm hoping it is, as opposed to just a separate product that is a Last of Us Part 2 remaster / remake, whatever they want to word it. I hope it is a Part 2 director's cut that pre-existing owners can pay $10, $15, whatever, to upgrade and get all the new stuff. And you can still buy it if you don't have it as not a full retail game necessarily, but close to a much higher price point.
I don't think I'd mind replaying. I don't think I'd mind replaying The Last of Us 2.
I'm gonna have to start it over.
Neither would I, for the record.
I tried to figure out where I was, and I was still lost.
Even if you don't like the story, the gameplay systems of Last of Us 2 are so good. It just never, for me, it would never be a chore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next one.
Oh boy. Either people are going to be happy about this or objectively defeatist. Well, I hope people like the Horizon series, because apparently it's not going anywhere for a long time. Guerrilla Games has said that the Horizon series is, quote, going to be continuing for a very long while, end quote. When Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC was released in April, fans suspected that it wasn't the end of Aloy's story. In May, studio director Jan Bart van Beek confirmed that Aloy's adventures will continue. He said in a blog post at the time that the series has now topped 32.7 million in sales. And he closed the post by saying, quote, last of all, I'd like to share that we are so excited that Aloy's adventures will continue. We can't wait for you to find out where she'll go next. Then in this new statement that we are breaking down, the Horizon universe will expand further than just one more game, though, Van Beek hopes, as he reveals during a Develop Brighton talk that the studio currently has more in the works. Quote, we're going to be continuing Horizon for a very long while. We have a lot of ambitious plans. That timeline that we started in 2016 is still clicking on, and we have a lot of plans. As people probably know, we're also going to be working on a multiplayer game, which is obviously making reference to the Horizon MMO that was first rumored in 2021. Van Beek explains that development on the upcoming multiplayer cooperative game is, quote, a massive shift for the studio, almost on the same level as doing the first Horizon. And that building this all out to a multiplayer experience is a whole new challenge for the studio. It doesn't actually say within this document, this article itself from Games Radar, but they are quoted as saying that they have 16 plans in the works for the series. Those don't all necessarily mean games. They can mean obviously the MMO. I think there's the cooperative multiplayer that's devoid of the MMO, because NetSoft is, or is it NetSoft? Something like that, is working on the MMO. And then Guerrilla are working in-house on the co-op Monster Hunter type thing. They're doing a Netflix show. There could be other cross-media stuff that they have in the running. So 16 sounds like a lot, but it could be, some of them are maybe smaller plans than bigger
16
plans.
beyond what we already have out, or is that including what we already have?
Not including what we already have. They have 16 plans.
Okay.
Going forward. Which is a whole lot of Horizon.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully you're not sick of it.
Again, as the only person who has finished both games.
Whoa, calm down.
Am I wrong?
Nope. I still have to play Zero Dawn at 60 FPS, baby, on PS5, baby. Yeah. And you need to play Ratchet and Clank 2016, and you need to play Rift Apart, and you need to play First Win. Actually, Horizon's the only blind side I have in my PlayStation first party catalog, I think.
You play Days Gone?
And Final Fantasy VII. And Days Gone. Shh.
Yeah, you got quite a few blind spots in.
Anyway.
Yeah, like it I love Horizon. I do. I think it's severely underrated as a franchise. I think it does have a lot of potential. 16 does sound like a lot. I hope that they, again, Horizon has so much potential, but I hope that Guerrilla doesn't become too wedded to that franchise alone. I hope that they do produce something else, a new IP, or return to an old IP. Not necessarily immediately. I'm with you, Taylor. But like in the not too distant future, I hope that they have something else that can maybe be a bit of a breather in between Horizon stuff. Without spoilers, from the end of Forbidden West going into the end of Burning Shores, I see a vision potentially of what they could do with Horizon going forwards that makes it at its core a completely different game to these first two. I think that there is a chance to, like what God of War 2018 did for that franchise, I think that there is a chance to just naturally, through the narrative, the ongoing narrative, create a third game, and then the subsequent games beyond that completely redefine what Horizon is. If they're going to do that, I don't know, but there is groundwork laid. There is enough groundwork laid where I can see that there is potential to do that. I hope they do that, because then I will take as much of it that they can give me. But again, it's sort of like a time will tell. Like, do all of these 16 actually come to fruition? We don't know yet. So they just have a lot of faith in the franchise and the IP, clearly. Rightly so.
How much money do you want to bet that one of those 16 plans is some sort of mobile game?
Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the MMO being developed is being made by not necessarily a strictly mobile studio, but like a studio that is famous for doing like MMO/MOBA type stuff on mobile. And NCSoft, is that I think that's ringing more of a bell. NCSoft as the developer.
No idea.
But I think they are like a mobile first developer, so it's almost 100% guaranteed that even if it isn't specifically just a mobile game, it will be a game that can run on mobile devices. Yeah. So
and then they're also going to do a MOBA.
I'm not sure on that one. No. Don't think so.
Toph is playing with curtain rods. I need to go stop her.
Okay.
Do it.
No problem. Okay. Let's go ahead and time code this. 7:39. Sure. Okay, let's go into the next one. So, Sony dives into extended reality. What? With 2 billion, I think it's 2.1 billion in gaming research and development, focusing on live services. So the Sony Group will ramp up research and development spending in its game business as it seeks to hone technology in live service games, an emerging field of extended reality that blends physical and digital worlds. The company will pour 300 billion yen, which is 2.13 billion US dollars, into research and development for its game segment for the fiscal year ending in March 2024. The amount which will account for around 40% of total research and development spending, will now surpasses spending in electronics and semiconductors. The figure is more than the 271 billion yen spent on game research and development last fiscal year, and more than double the 144 billion yen in fiscal 2020. Sony Group plans to spend 760 billion yen in company-wide research and development this fiscal year, up to 3% on the year.
Right. So 200 billion, that much yen is roughly
$2.1 billion.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Sorry, I missed that because my cat was being my cat. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, yeah, 2.1 billion is the US dollars, is what I was saying. But yeah, I don't think, let's see, Sony projects that the market for add-on style games will reach 19 billion in 2026, a figure that would surpass the market for hardware like the PlayStation for the first time. So yeah, they're working on 12 live service games. They plan to have 12 live service games in its portfolio by fiscal year ending March 2026. So it plans to allocate 55% of PlayStation 5 game development spending to live service games in the year ending March 2024, and 60% for the year ending March 2026. So yeah, they did talk about extended reality stuff a little bit here, kind of like the Apple's Vision Pro headset. So they're just going to do some research into that, it looks like. So yeah, there we go.
Boo.
What, you don't want a bunch of live service games that are all going to flop?
No, surprising stance to take. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's almost like we've seen dozens and dozens of live service attempts come and go. You know,
rest in peace.
Lead to closing of studios and things like that. Let alone a dozen live services coming from within one publisher itself, one corporation, within a couple of years. It's like
they're going to be competing against themselves. That's so
exactly
weird.
not just the heavy hitters, but it's in-house fighting as well. So what? How do you think that's going to work? Because it's not.
Naughty Dog competing against Bungie.
I don't like Naughty Dog's odds.
Okay. Well, I don't have much to say. I think it's interesting to see like how much they're spending. Like these are obscene amounts of money that I could never even like dream of being like approved.
Can I say like a hot take here? If the future eventually results in everything's live service, I'm not entirely opposed to it so long as within this, let's say everything ends up like Destiny 2, where if you want to play campaigns, you still have to get through this Destiny 2, this like online interface, this online dashboard of all these other options. As long as I can get to my single player content, I think I can live with it. Even if it's within an interface that promotes multiplayer.
I don't think it's like everything will be, right? Like 12 games is a lot, but it's not everybody.
Like 25 years down the line. I definitely think outside of the indie space, that will be the trajectory games will take.
And it's worth remembering that like when they say 12 live service, that doesn't mean 12 fortnights or anything, you know? Like it can just be
factions. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that would be considered a live service, or even like a Ghost of Tsushima Legends, right? That was technically bundled in with Ghost of Tsushima. If that had a ongoing marketplace or limited time in-game events that you could do, that would be classified as a live service. So it's not like major things that you're going to have to invest so much time into. It can just be a game with live service elements that would be considered within that 12 or so title. So I think it's still a bad idea. And also that it's Sony investing this, like that it's the parent company, isn't specifically PlayStation investing that money. So, you know, when you hear about what money PlayStation has available to them in terms of like acquisitions or investment in their own studios pre-existing, like this is devoid of that. But it's still not something that I think Sony should be investing too much money into, but they are. So
I mean, 2.1 billion, that's nothing, right?
Yeah, chump change.
Okay. I was going to ask you guys if you wanted to move the last two stories to next week's show, since we have a post show we have to do.
I'm fine with
that.
Yeah. Okay. So we just have 7 left to do, and then I'll move 8 and 9 to next week then.
Say this for next week.
I got it.
Those are evergreen, I think, the last two. So
thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Yay. Okay, what's 7 then? Taylor, it's your turn.
7. The PlayStation Access controller will release globally on December 6th, and it will be priced at $89.99 US dollars. That's 120 Canadian and about 13,000 yen, 90 euro and 80 pounds. So as we as we talked about in previous weeks, Sony's been developing this accessibility controller that they since named the Access, where it has a lot of great customizable options out of a panel that looks like a circle that you can map buttons, motions, joystick motions, mounted to a wheelchair, all these different features. And It's releasing on December 6th. And it's coming with, included in the box is the controller itself. It's about 0.7 pounds, 322 grams. It also includes 4 expansion ports, 3.5 millimeter auxiliary ports to connect additional buttons, special trigger switches, and other compatible accessories. 19 button caps, 3 stick caps, 23 button cap tags, which these tags let players easily mark which inputs they're mapping to each button on the unit. USB cable, and of course the instructions. Sony also included a visual breakdown in their PS blog. And pre-orders for the Access controller start July 21st, which is at the time of recording, 5 days from now, July 21st, 2023, starting at 10 a.m. Local time, local to whoever is ordering. Players in the US, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, Austria, and Portugal can pre-order the controller directly from PlayStation Direct, as well as from select retailers. I assume this will include, the normals that we see here: Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Amazon. And yeah, it launches on December 6th, and it will be a thing. This is definitely cheaper than I thought it would be. I believe we previously suggested it was going to launch at a little over $100. I don't think I expected it to be below $100, but here we are. And Xboxes.
I think we said that we were expecting it to be like around 120.
Yeah,
but we were hoping it would be under 100.
The Xbox Adaptive. Okay, the Xbox Adaptive controller. Sorry to interrupt. Is $99.99.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously not speaking out of turn, but neither of us are going to use it or have a necessity for it, thankfully. But for those people that do and want to access the games on the ecosystem easier, I can't attest to how good it is, how compatible it is with different people's requirements and setups. But as you said, Taylor, it's a thing, and that's far more than a lot of people had in terms of options. So only a good thing.
Yep. Nice.
And they weren't greedy.
And they weren't greedy. Yeah, it would just be bad optics. I think that was the main sticking point.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. All right. Are we ready to go into the post show?
Sure. Wait, actually, before we do, Sam asked me a question last week that he said he wanted to ask you for Limitless this week. So let's do that. So we're tying up an end.
Right. And I've not listened to last week's episode because I'm a bad co-host. So what was the question?
Oh God. What was the question? I've got a mind like a sieve.
You were just asking about so first of all, we talked about best year of gaming, and then we talked about underrated.
Oh yes, I remember now. Taylor, I posed a question just as a little fun thing. And I'm interested to hear your choice. If you had to pick one game from a previous PlayStation console generation that you would think is a hidden or underrated gem, what would that game be?
I think I will say, I'm trying to think of other PS exclusives I've played in the past. If any of these are above what I don't think
it has to be an exclusive.
First answer is.
It doesn't necessarily have to be exclusive as long as it was on PlayStation.
Okay. I'm going to say 2 choices.
Okay.
I think Mod Nation Racers was an excellent arcade racer that at the time I think was appreciated well, but in retrospect, mostly forgotten.
Yeah.
And my second answer would be The Last Guardian. I know it got a lot of praise when it came out, but there was also a lot of people who were not big fans. I thought controls were too janky and floaty, but I had a fantastic time with that game, and I thought it is the best companion. It features the best companion in a video game, and the best single player, what I'll call single player collaborative adventure, where you have a sidekick with you the whole time. I just thought the way Trico was implemented was really cool, also touching. I distinctly remember when Trico was scared of these mirrors with the face on them, and I had to navigate around my companion being scared and frightened. And how do I navigate that functionally in the gameplay, let alone as intellectually as a a person? How do I help my companion get through these hard times?
Sure.
I thought it was just a really special game. So I think my two answers are Mod Nation Racers and Last Guardian.
Good picks. I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, PlayStation Ultra's Battle Royale. Of course, how could I be remiss if I don't mention it? I genuinely thought it was just really fun. I thought I had a fantastic time with it, and I really wanted Sony. I really wish it got more in the limelight, but it wasn't quite Smash, and I think that's a legacy it's left with. But it was a great try.
You think we'll ever see another one?
Probably not. See, I was about to say probably not, but Sony could live service the hell out of that game. So I'll say unlikely, but not impossible.
They're bringing back Twisted Metal, so anything's possible,
Right. Yeah. What were your picks?
Sam, go ahead.
No, you're repeating it. Sorry.
Yes, I picked a very obscure PS2 game from Creative Assembly, who do all the Total War strategy games.
Oh.
It was called Spartan Total Warrior. It was just a game that formative in my childhood. Played it incessantly on repeat. Very big history nut I am, so fed into that love as well. It was like a sort of God of War type hacky slashy kind of game. Nice. Not great, but just a lot of nostalgia.
Cool.
My answer was a game called Wander Song. You just play as like a little bard.
Heard of that?
It's so cute. I really like it.
It's great.
So.
Cool.
Okay, Posto?
All right. Or wait. Outroduction.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for listening. Remember, you can find us on YouTube at Save the Game Media. Don't forget to check us out on Discord, Patreon. Enter the Spider-Man 2 Digital Deluxe giveaway, where Peter finally becomes Bully Maguire. These are all in the description. Where can people find you, Bree?
You can find me at Fabulous Brianna, FabulistBreanna.
Awesome. What about you, Sam H?
People can find me, again, I will continue to reiterate, for a potentially very short amount of time on Twitter at Sam Heaney, Heaney.
Where will you? Are you a Threads guy now?
No, I'm not on anything else yet. Because if you sign up to Threads, you cannot delete your account without deleting your Instagram account.
Oh.
So I'm not committing to it yet until I see it sort of maintain a consistent, I want it to become a mainstay before I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to jump on the train. But I'm looking, I've got my eyes on it. I'm keeping my eyes on it over there.
All right. Yeah, join the No Socials except for Discord Club.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Maybe.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.